Peace family, it's Don John, Eastside Donny in the building. You already know what time it is, and we just created a podcast for everybody out there who loves podcasts. You want to check this out? It's called Why Not Us? And we couldn't have done it without the help of Groove Studios. That's right, Groove Studios just opened up to the public, and you want to make sure that you tap in with them if you're in the Atlanta area and need podcasts, recordings for audio, video, whatever it is, content management. They got you covered. So check them out at Groove Studios on their Instagram, okay? Reasonable prices, and they make sure that your project is top tier. You don't want to miss out on this, and you don't want to miss out on the podcast. Check us out on YouTube, Why Not Us, the podcast, and I'm out. Peace. Peace family, I go by the name of Don John, aka Eastside Donny in the building.
And I go by the name of Rose, and this is Why Not Us. Let's get started.
So today we got the homie, the family, Jabriel in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, rapper, singer, actor, extraordinaire.
Hi guys.
All right.
What's up?
Cool.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, bro.
I step outside the cave for good people.
That's love, bro.
That's good to know.
Yeah, because I understand how it is to be an introvert and be an artist, and you just are in your own space, and people don't understand that.
People don't get it, and I have family calling me all the time, like, "Why I ain't heard from you?" Like, I'm in my head right now. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Like, we still good. I still love you.
Still good.
But I just can't be involved with anybody as far as like trying to have hangout time and shit like that. Yeah, sometimes
my homies get on me all, man, I ain't seen you. What you up to? You catch me on a good day, I'll tell you pull up at the crib.
Right. Yeah. It all depends.
At some point in your life, those mental nerves start to go off and they start to click. So you need time to yourself to even put those things together.
I need a lot of time these days, just keeping a steady schedule. Being in a position to be able to produce something that has real value to me and not wanting to mess that moment up.
Hey, how's it going, family? This is Rose. I want to thank y'all for tuning in to the show today. Before we push forward, I want to make sure that y'all know the wine that we're sipping on today. It's called Longevity. It's a black-owned red blend wine created by Phil Long and his late wife Deborah in 2003. And trust me, it tastes very, very good. So I do recommend that you all try it. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with a few friends. Peace.
What is the biggest failure that you had to push through?
I got a lot of them, bro.
Doesn't have to be musically, just like, socially, religiously.
I got to the point where I stopped looking at each failure as bigger than the other. I wanted it to not feel as, I didn't want to be as beat up about certain things. So anything that happened, a L is a L to me. If I lost the game for 40 points versus 2 points, it's still a L to me. So there isn't one in particular, but just being able to persevere through any of that. You know what I'm saying? Like there isn't one in particular.
Was not knowing that a failure itself, like not being conscious of the magnitude of failures.
I grew up in a very country place, and as I'm getting out into the world and you having good days, bad days, I used to think that if I went into the studio and couldn't come up with anything and it's a room full of people, I was a complete failure. And they were gonna go around and tell everybody not to work with me, or doing a show and people are just staring at you. Being in front of a bunch of people or releasing music and it not having a big positive reception. I just got to the point where I was just like, why do I care so much? Why am I defined by my failures instead of my wins? I was so hard on myself about how I looked, how I sounded, what I wrote about. It just got to the point where I'm happy to get up every day. I'm happy to just be able to find a way to keep pushing through all of it.
Why are you able to say that today?
After being through so much, it's just, you just lose your mind. And I got to the point where I lost my mind genuinely. Like Diddy put up a post where he said he slept in roaches.
Oh yeah, I saw that post.
I really lived that.
Yeah,
I
me too.
woke up with on my face.
Yeah.
Not 7. How many roaches did he say it was on his
Like
face?
I would sleep with a hat on because I was scared it would get in my hair.
Yeah.
Like, but being in the trenches like that really lit a different fire in me to the point where it's like I can't sit here and dwell on my shortcomings,
Right.
because it's gonna happen. Every day you live, something is gonna happen.
Can I be honest with you?
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had that type of perseverance. I'm in that same position right now, and that person for me is my father. No matter how much money I accumulate, no matter how many goals I check off the list, I still feel like I am still in a sunken place until that specific person is in a better situation.
Yeah, I feel that, and I mirror that. I go through the same things, and there have been days where that's weighed heavily on me.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I just have to push that to the back of my mind. Like, you
work.
might not consciously know you're doing it, but there are some days where it's not really in the forefront of your brain when you're going through your day to day. Those are the days when you really gotta succeed and prosper and do it, hit the nail with the hammer. You know what I'm saying? When you're not bombarded by everything that you want, everything that you thinking about, not wanting to let nobody down. So at the end of the day, they just want to see you happy.
That's true.
Yes, you want to
bro.
provide
So
the
true.
world and do whatever that you want, but real success comes from being happy and being able to inspire. And regardless of where you at, you never know who inspired by what you got going on.
Come on, bro.
Like I just met you today. I'm inspired by you. You know what I'm saying? I've known you for a couple months now. I'm inspired by you.
Likewise.
You know?
Yeah.
For sure.
It's about not harping so hard on some things. Because it's easier said than done, especially we black men. And we in our heads.
Yeah, bro.
For sure.
Especially when you feel like the world don't love you.
Yeah.
Like the world don't champion you. So those days when we really get those moments to not overthink, I try to bask in that. I do a lot of overthinking. As I'm sure you too.
Absolutely, I do. Do you have any safe places?
I'm sorry, I felt that.
You good, bro. I mean, that's real. And that's why I asked that question, because like safe places are important. Like you said, black men, we live in our heads a lot of the time. And we already have the world against us. Right. And everything in the world tries to turn black women against us. Yeah. So it's like, well, our own women, are feeling some type of way as if we're not protecting them. And that's where that campaign for protect black women comes from. Absolutely. And I find my safe place within black women. And I do my best to make sure that their safe places within me as well. So
I find safe places in people, but in the recent years, I've tried to not put as much stock into one particular person feeding me happiness. Right. Because at the end of the day, that has to come from within.
It does.
If you're not happy with yourself, absolutely nothing in this world will bring that for you.
Yeah, that's the work that you were born with. That's
right.
Yeah, that's the.
I like to focus on a lot of internal work these days, because we find so much of a temporary high in some of the things we enjoy. I feel so fulfilled some days when I might have gone on a walk and really just cried.
Yeah.
Just purged. Like I was, I don't know if I should say this on camera, but I had an experience probably like a week or so ago. I was high as shit. And I just started purging. Like, I was overwhelmed by everything going on. And I just started crying, and I was like, you know what? I feel better.
Yeah.
I needed it because we bottle so much up.
Yes, sir. Life ain't that like what Life Jennings says? He says crying is like taking your soul through the laundromat.
Yeah,
that's real, bro.
Yeah.
We're not taught to express ourselves.
Yes.
I grew up a very nonchalant person, but I found a quote not too long ago that I was like, this is what I've been trying to say my whole life. I don't have a lack of excitement. I have a lack of expression. Just because I don't show that I'm going through things does not mean that I'm not experiencing every color on this spectrum.
Exactly.
Of happy, sad, melancholy,
worry, doubt, fear.
The physical just doesn't convey that, but it's happening.
But it's happening, and we're experiencing these things in real time. And we have to find those moments where we find a safe ground to push through. whether it's taking that bite of that cake that you said you wasn't going
Wasn't
to eat.
gonna take.
Yeah.
Or going on a walk, or taking
for
a
real.
trip,
Yeah.
or reading a book, or going to have sex. You know, it's there are small victories we can have to persevere through anything.
Absolutely. Even
You
if
just
we
gotta
talk
find
to
what work for you.
right. Even if we like talk to somebody, like
Mhm.
maybe therapy.
I believe in therapy. I'm gonna get a therapist.
Yeah.
I commend anybody who has gone through it. I highly suggest it for anybody, even if your life was great.
Mm-hmm.
You should still
You should
talk to
still
someone.
be able to. I feel so much better now that I can actively express how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to say exactly how you feel in any given moment is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many of us, you might be so hot-headed that you can't talk. Even when I'm that upset, I find a way to say what I need to say.
I'm pretty sure it helps with the writing as well. To
Absolutely.
be able to unfold and touch on things that you've never tapped into in the past.
Yeah.
You weren't comfortable with tapping into in the past. Yeah. So
yeah. I enjoy writing situations where artists really want to get to that, when I'm penning for people and they want to do something deep versus just a quick hit.
Yep.
Yeah.
I appreciate the quick hits just like anybody, but I'm interested in peeling back the layers.
This actually is a question I have for you that I wanted to say, but we're so tapped into this vibe right now. I wanted to ask you, is it very important for you? Do you feel like it's a duty to talk about love, relationships, and the challenges that they bring?
Yes and no. Because essentially we're all talking about the same things. We're trying to find our own unique way of telling the same story. But just like life, there's a web of things that we always are going to have to talk about. Your love life, your shortcomings, the wins, the losses. But I'm going to talk about whatever I'm going through at the time, and I just hope that it connect. I hope it land.
Yeah.
But it's very therapeutic for me. I've recorded songs and shed real tears after. Like Plaza on Manifest, that was one take. I got home that night and listened to that line talking about my mom, and I really was hurt. Like, dang, I finally got this off my chest. I'm finally talking about this girl who had me fucked up. I'm finally talking about a lot of this not being accepted by people that I want in my life to see me instead of the picture they painted of me.
See you for who you are.
For who I am.
you stepped out of that what I call it you stepped out of that black and white space
Stepped in the
and,
color.
and you started to operate within that gray area or the color area, as you would say. That's pretty dope, man. That's dope. There's not a lot of people that can do that or that wants to do that, man.
I had a very
Takes a lot of bravery.
I had a very serious year last year, pandemic aside. It was the most money I'd ever made, but I had a falling out with somebody that meant the world to me, still mean the world to me. Somebody that I look up to, did look up to, that no matter what they said, I was there, but it got to the point where I'm just like, you don't see me. And I have to go places where I'm watered.
Yes.
Not saying that I wasn't watered, but it wasn't the right kind of water that I needed.
That's deep.
Because a lot of times people will say when they notice your behavior change, you're acting out of character. But am I truly acting out of character, or am I showing up as a character that's not so easily manipulated and controlled?
Absolutely. And I got to the point where last year I really tapped into the most authentic version of myself. It's still a blueprint. I'm still evolving, but I just couldn't deal with certain energy anymore. Especially when you are looked at as someone who's letting XYZ down, or you not producing this type of stuff, or outside opinions is so much, or people who talking about you, but they don't really know you at the core of who you are. And sometimes we even let family talk to us like we know they know exactly who we are, but you wasn't out there with me when I was sleeping on floors. I came to Atlanta in a snowstorm one time. no heat.
Mm-hmm.
I was sleeping like a cocoon, wrapped in blankets in a corner, like
A real Eskimo.
So it's just like certain things when certain opinions would be put on me. It's just like
You don't know.
you don't know my journey,
Right.
And for the life of me, you can have any type of response to anything I say or do, but you don't know what I've been through to paint a picture of me to try to tell me who I am.
And a lot of times family just looks at you as the last version of yourself before you left the house.
That's true. Also, they don't.
Yeah.
Although they know that evolution happens, they don't. For some reason, it's like they don't expect it to happen with you.
Yeah, they can't see it.
That can come from so many different avenues: family, friends, close friends. And I just got to that point where I stopped trying to impress people. Like I wanted people to be impressed, but I didn't care no more. Like,
see, this is exactly why when people, separate themselves from me because they are chasing something else, and they have to, separate themselves from life and chase after their goal. When they come back into my life, I treat them as there's a chance that they may be someone new. I have to respond to the energy that they give me because I know for a fact that everyone doesn't stay the same. So and also I don't know everything about a person because I'm a very intricate, complex person now. So
and I never understood how intricate we were until recently. Like sometimes I think back on like my father growing up. And as black males, when you looked at your dad, you never knew what they was going through. Like you might have had an inkling as to what was going on, but we're complex individuals at the ages we are at right now in our own lives, and we're thinking about a million things. So just think about what your people was going through at the time.
Right.
It's just like me understanding how intricate we are. I can now look at other people and say, you know what? You might have had something going on. Or there's way more at play here than I could have ever known at the time.
Right.
So I don't really hold nothing against nobody no more. But you just never know.
Yeah. And I think that also is a piece of not getting disappointed when people respond or react in certain ways, because you understand that that's them from their perspective.
Yeah.
It's always about that person. It's never about you.
That was me. I harped big on disappointment. Being disappointed and feeling shame. But now it's, man, I don't care. I'll go. I was dressed up as Mad Hatter for Halloween. I done shows in some of the craziest outfits.
You ever breathe fire on stage?
Nah, but I seen it at a show.
Yeah.
There was a dude rapping and he had 2 fire breathers, and I was like, yo.
Oh, damn, he had 2 fire breathers.
Yeah, but I think I was on Edgewood.
Edgewood is different. I love Edgewood.
This was years ago, though. This is old Edgewood, not new Edgewood.
Edgewood now is just like a random. Well, he's not random anymore because he's there weekly with the snake. You know what I'm talking about? Walking around with the snake on his shoulders. Girls be coming around. He put the python on their shoulders.
Sure is.
Damn right.
You want to hold him?
Want to feed him? Got his food right here.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Edgewood a different place, man.
Peace family, it's Don John, Eastside Donny in the building. You already know what time it is, and we just created a podcast for everybody out there who loves podcasts. You want to check this out? It's called Why Not Us? And we couldn't have done it without the help of Groove Studios. That's right, Groove Studios just opened up to the public, and you want to make sure that you tap in with them if you're in the Atlanta area and need podcasts, recordings for audio, video, whatever it is, content management. They got you covered. So check them out at Groove Studios on their Instagram, okay? Reasonable prices, and they make sure that your project is top tier. You don't want to miss out on this, and you don't want to miss out on the podcast. Check us out on YouTube, Why Not Us the Podcast, and I'm out. Peace.
Do you produce, bro?
To have the patience to sit down and actually do it when I can just tell somebody
to do it.
Yeah. Hey man, let's play that real quick. Boom.
Do you have a flute handy? I could show you. I could show you how I wanted to sound.
Have a flute, would you?
A very peculiar instrument to ask for, right?
How about this? You got a little harp?
Maybe a harp. Maybe a sousaphone.
Sousaphone? Xylophone, perhaps.
Right.
Sousaphone.
Maybe an organ in the garage.
I saw some keys when I walked by.
Is that a harmonica back there?
Right.
I mean, I did play instruments growing up, but my attention span is very short for it now. I get so caught up in the writing process that I would much rather worry about that.
That's an artist for you though.
Yeah.
Because artists, like our attention, bro, it's just like everywhere. Like,
hats off to the people who can sit down and do every single thing though, because that is a task in itself. But I am not one of them people who want to sit down and be tweaking the mix, doing all that. There are people who are genuine role players in this.
Yeah.
And I could definitely see myself being a person who does everything, but there have been so many classic records made with a room full of people. I just don't want to cheapen the experience for nobody.
Is that by choice? Did you decide to like really focus on the writing?
Yeah. It wasn't a choice that was made for me. The deeper I got into it, and there was a point in time where I really enjoyed engineering myself and coming up with all this stuff. But once I really started getting in rooms with people who were genuinely skilled and that was their job to do certain tasks, it felt different. It was a little weight off my shoulders. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna do my strength. I'm gonna sharpen the other stuff in the meantime, but there's gonna always be somebody who a couple steps ahead of you that really know what they're doing.
right.
Yeah.
Is there a certain way that you learn how to work with a producer?
No, everybody's process is different, honestly. There have been guys who we link up and we just go make some magic right there on the spot, which is always a blessing. There have been guys who send me dope beats and I might write it and record it myself and do something, you know. Whatever works for anything. I don't shoot nothing down, but there's no one set way of having to do anything.
Yeah, that's true. When I was back in Miami, I recorded a song. It was a freestyle a long time ago with some guys that were operating a studio. I met him through my homeboy named Twan, or my brother named Twan. Shout out to Twan. That's how I met those people. If it wasn't for Twan, I would not have been able to even connect with people that works on a certain part of the craft. Like how do you even connect with? Like, how did you connect with those people when you were doing things by yourself? It was by yourself, but then you got the opportunity to focus on the writing and work with other people that were doing other parts of the craft. So how do you get in that room?
It honestly depends on who put you in that room. There got to be somebody who hear you that think you dope to even put you in a position to win like that. Period. And growing up, sometimes we're a little hard headed and we don't listen. But once I got to a point where I was genuinely ready to listen, removing the ego and being fully collaborative, it definitely opened doors. I think in the last 7 years, it probably was about 7 years ago where I really started having people like really chiming into what I was doing. Like, man, I like this music. I like this. And these are songs that ain't even out no more.
Yeah.
This is songs that's not even out no more. And then I end up being brought out here and just kind of networking, taking me around, meeting people, not necessarily always a studio environment, but one thing I like about Atlanta is everybody does something. And
Absolutely.
you network, you meet the right person.
Yeah.
You had that conversation and that, oh man, come up to the studio. That leads to that. Now, we all know as artists that sometimes, some days you just don't have it. Some days you do.
Yeah.
I've had plenty days where I was on fire. And we've all been there. You on fire today. Can't nobody touch you. But I've also had days where it was cold. It wasn't hitting the way it needed to. And we know that in this industry as well, it's based off how hot you are.
Yes.
So let me ask you something. You leave South Carolina, right?
Right.
At what age?
16, 17. Yeah.
So you leave there to come here?
No, I went to college from South Carolina, which was in Virginia.
Oh, wow.
So I'm up there.
It's
and
a cold ass place to be.
Bro, it's so bipolar. You can be outside and it can be warm. Go inside, change your coat, come back outside. It look like it's a hurricane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like complete night and day. But my freshman year at school, I just so happened to be in the dorm, and I think I was heating up some ramen noodles or something like that in the microwave. And I meet this guy, and he's talking about, man, I got a full studio in my room.
Wow.
I be making music, da da da. And I'm just like, at this point back in the day, I used to carry around this book bag with like 4 or 5 notebooks and songs. Just writing, right.
Mm-hmm.
My grades dropped in high school because I was writing songs instead of doing my work in class.
Mm-hmm.
So when this dude tells me this, I'm like, let me go get my notebooks real quick.
Right, I'm prepared.
I'm prepared, you know,
Right.
and of course I go in his room not expecting to hear what I hear, but it's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
For somebody who was self-taught the way he was. He had just started producing. So he was really the first person to just kind of let me in the environment where the music actually had quality to it.
Gotcha.
Because I had done some things back home, but it just didn't have no steam to it for real. You know, you just playing around. So from there, just trying to get good, but you know, ego, thinking you better than you are.
Yeah.
Skipping out. I would stay in the studio all night, but I wasn't making nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So from there,
You was busy but not productive.
yeah, busy but not productive. And I wouldn't even say busy because it's me not being in that environment for so long to then be bombarded with 6 to 15 people in a room,
Yeah.
all watching you do your thing. This is your first time really in that environment, so it kind of shell shocked me a little bit. So,
It's different, yeah.
yeah. So
that was like your first stage, really.
right, and I failed miserably, but you learn a lot when you fail.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you do.
So, and it got to the point where I had so many failures just going to rooms fucking up.
Mm-hmm.
Not being prepared, being too shy to just push my voice. Like my voice used to be like this because I wasn't training it, but recording is a skill. That's probably one of the cornerstone pieces of advice I've ever been given.
Yeah.
Recording is a skill.
Come on.
From that first moment of meeting that guy, it was maybe about another 2 or 3 years before I met the next producer.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I met him, it was completely different. He was like, do whatever you want.
So he gave you free range.
He gave me free range, and there would be times where every idea is not a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But I would at least get to record it to see if it was a good idea versus being shut down immediately when it's said.
And if it didn't work, you just throw it away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or you can go back and retool it for later
Right.
or whatever. But what ended up happening in that period of time is I started making stuff that worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
Found a voice, found a writing style, found things that really made me feel more polished.
Right.
So from there, all right, now I'm making songs that I kind of like. I'm not entirely upset leaving the studio.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I met this guy right around the time where I was like, I've been doing this about 4 or 5 years and it don't sound good yet. So that's when you kind of get to that point where you thinking like, should I do something else?
Right.
I meet him at that point, and from there it's up.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So where would you say that you draw from musically?
I used to listen to a lot of Prince.
Oh wow.
Stevie Wonder.
Wait, how old are you?
I'm 30.
Are you really?
Yeah.
30.
Yeah.
Listen to a lot of Prince.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking. I'm 30 also. So
Okay.
I've listened to.
Y'all niggas old, man.
Please don't judge me. All right. I've listened to like one Prince record,
Really?
Nah, I'm definitely judging you
and that's like
because you're old enough to know.
But I'm not mad at that because had it not been for my dad being such a R&B music buff,
Yeah.
you know, Prince was somebody he idolized. So of course that's who I listened to. I used to listen to a lot of New Edition,
Mm-hmm.
just random bands from the 90s.
Gotcha.
You know, an assortment of sounds. My mom was a big music head. My grandmother, you know, everybody, grandmama played music Saturday anytime to clean.
Yeah.
You know, so my taste has always been all over the place. I'm one of the people. If I hear a good song, I'm gonna listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't shy away from any genre of music because there's something to be tapped in every market of this shit. You know.
Absolutely. It's so much music that could be made, and like especially when you find your groove. Like you were speaking
Right,
about
absolutely.
how you're speaking about how you kind of found your sound. It was taking a while. You linked up with one person and then another person. You still weren't quite confident about how your sound was. One thing I want to ask you is who do you write your music for?
Is it for yourself, or do you draw inspiration from someone specifically?
Well, I'm actually at a new crossroads with that because what I'm working on now is probably the most me centric music that I
Mm.
can make of everything I'm going through, not dialing it back, not trying to leave certain records off. And I always wrote from a place of giving my story and experiences. Of course, I can tell the story where you might not exactly know what I'm talking about, but I know. But where I'm at now is nah, we really go through things, and I'm gonna tell you what I'm going through right now.
Mm.
And I feel like when people hear it, whoever's going through the same thing, it's gonna connect. And I
Mhm.
long for connection now versus anything temporary as far as people coming and going, fans that you hear today, gone tomorrow, 15
Mhm.
minutes of fame. Like, of course, we all want to get big, but I always value the people who just are real listeners.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know?
they have a genuine emotional connection
Yeah,
to the words that you put on paper.
yeah. I've released music and people hit me up and told me stories about how they were
Mm.
moved or motivated, and I'm just like, wow,
That's
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 and
That's
real.
it's a
powerful, bro.
genuine feeling.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
when I started really getting that, I said, I'm in a good space.
Yeah.
And this is the type of artist I want to be. I can
Mhm.
create whatever type of records, but at my core, I want to be able to say something that move you,
Mhm.
that feel like something you going through, something that you felt. And then from there, you take that music, you gonna pass that along
Mhm.
Hmm.
to whoever is also going through the same thing.
One thing I believe, bro, not to cut you off, but
Mhm.
one thing I believe is you should always show up as yourself
Yeah,
because when the opportunity presents itself, the people that need to see you will be able to recognize who you are.
exactly. And I've
Yeah.
shown up in a lot of industry rooms trying to portray the image that people wanted me to portray
Mm.
versus being who I am. And I'm in a much better place to know who I am. Of course, when you're younger, you got people in your ear telling you
You
this, and
fall
that.
for a lot
You
more.
fall for a lot more.
Yeah.
And I'll go into some rooms sometime all dressed up, trying to be superstar, which we all stars.
Mhm.
Hmm.
But you can also pull up in a room looking completely normal and
Hmm.
be just as rich as the next man
Or richer.
or richer. You
Because you
know,
can't even always
you
tell
can't
by
always
how
tell.
someone looks, man.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had a conversation with someone at a shoe store back in Miami. And me and my homie Big G was at the store, and he was like, Big G he was trying to buy some shoes, but he was trying to get some shoes that nobody had.
Mm.
He was trying to be trying to be as unique as possible. But he had a conversation with the guy, and the guy was like, "Listen, man, you're the only you. You know,
Mm.
there's nobody else like you. As
Hmm.
long as if you can buy the same shoes that somebody else has, but if you decide to just be yourself, because there's no one that's made like you, that's molded like you." You can wear the same thing as someone else wears, and it's still going to be shown as you. Like it's still going to be artistically put out to the world
Mm.
as you, even if it's the same J. So just be yourself.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you, right? When did you decide to be you in your music? Like when did you, find your voice and you were like, despite what's being told to me, despite where the industry is trying to push me, what this is me. This is this music, this field, this path is me. When did you decide?
There was a guy that was trying to manage me. I want to say about 5 years ago out here,
Uh huh.
and he had me writing for this artist, which was she's amazing.
Mm.
She's gone on to do brilliant things,
Okay.
and somehow we just kind of fell out of touch, me and the guy. But he gave me really great advice for a lot of things, but I just once again not being in a position to receive it. But also I'd always had this little inkling in the back of my mind that there's got to be a reason that no matter what some people say to me, it's not sticking, it's not resonating. So maybe
Hmm.
that's not me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had so many songs that I was just demoing trying to get to other people, and it got to the point where nobody wanted them, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna put something out myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a letter to myself, and it was a dope piece to where, like I said, people would hit me up like, man, I feel this. I was going through the same thing of leaving school and not having nothing going on, or feeling like I was a complete failure.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, I'm like, all right, I gotta dive more into this.
Now,
Of course,
were these songs on Manifest?
the project before Manifest.
Okay.
So that one was called Sessions, which was before I shortened my name to just Jabriel. It was Malcolm Jabriel. But on the cover of that album is two versions of me, like a superstar version of me, but also a version of me that was a psychologist.
Mm.
So throughout that album, it was a therapy session of me finally saying, okay, you in your head, but I'm gonna talk you out your head.
Mm.
Because it's two different versions of me. Like that in college, I went to school for psychology, and I was smart. My teachers would tell me, you smart, you just don't do the work.
Mhm.
So it was two versions of me. That version of me that would have gone down that path of just doing everything I was supposed to do, versus the other version of me who hard-headed, not really getting it together. There's potential there. It's a diamond in the rough, but he don't know what to do.
Mm.
Right.
So from there was a lot more of the story to tell. Then I go into Manifest. Like, all right, I done had that real moment with myself. Now I got to begin manifesting these things.
Mhm.
I got to keep chipping away at it, get these songs a little more refined. So Manifest came. You know. So from there, Volume 1
Mm-hmm.
is the EP. But some of these songs I've been sitting on a while. It's just
Yeah.
getting to the point where I'm like, all right, I can put this out. 'Cause my last project was 7 songs, but I had at least 15 that I could have did whatever with.
Mm.
You know, but
And just because it's old to you, it's new. It's new to us.
It's
Yeah,
new
right.
to a lot
Yeah.
of people, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
That
Yeah.
version, Spring Showers on there is not even the first version of that song.
Mm.
The first version I did, I was singing it like Prince
Where
in a
you?
high falsetto.
I wanted to ask you about your falsetto, bro, because it's one record in particular that I was like, this nigga is really comfortable in his head voice.
Sometimes it's hard though, because you know, as a man, your voice is naturally deeper.
Yeah.
So those days I'm really up there, I'm like, okay.
The song
Just
is
go ahead and do it.
called
All right.
Signs. Is it
Yeah,
Signs?
Signs. Yeah.
I sent that joint to one of my friends. She was kind of helping on the management tip shortly before Volume 1 came out, and she's like, "Who's the woman? Who's the woman you got singing on there?"
At the intro, right? At
No,
the beginning.
the whole
the whole thing?
She's like, "The high voice. Who's the woman?" I'm like, "Nigga, that's me.
I did that.
I did that."
I had to listen to it a few times back. The first time I thought it was a woman, and then I was like, well, it kind of smooths into his voice a little too well to be another vocal lead.
Yeah.
So I was like,
I
okay.
just hop into certain bags, man. I really started getting into different layers and tones, and
Yeah.
wanting to explore different paths of sound as I was creating. So I'm like, shit, if I can get up there or go real low, I'm gonna try all of them.
Should
to
do
just
it.
As you should, yeah. As you
to
should.
see what really fit, what feel like me.
Do you have a favorite artist that sings in their head voice? A male artist, like maybe
Maxwell.
I
okay.
was just about to say his name.
Wow.
Maxwell.
That's my favorite person that sings in their head voice.
Yeah, Maxwell's voice is
Maxwell is dope. Yeah.
Pretty wings.
I got a song on my next joint whenever that come out that's very Maxwell. Like I'll play it for y'all before we leave, but
Yeah.
it's up there. And it's gonna be one of them ones. I know it
Got
is.
you. I can't wait for it to drop. I'm actually a fan, brother. I'm not gonna lie
I
to you.
appreciate that.
I heard it
Yeah.
for the first time. It usually takes me a couple of spins for me to get into someone.
Okay.
Right? He sent it to me today, and I played it, and I was like, oh yeah, this is good. And I told you when we were in here, if it was bad, I would have told.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah, so it's I'm a fan for sure. So I honestly recommend everyone that's listening to go check out Jabriel's songs.
And
for
definitely
sure.
check out Manifest and Volume 1. Those are the ones that I've been listening to. And man, like there's some parallels between the two projects, but because Volume 1 seems to be a little bit more grown and sexy
Yeah.
than Manifest is.
I mean, I really, it's crazy because Volume 1 wasn't that. it wasn't sexed out
Yeah.
in the beginning stages. Like I've recorded 3 projects at once. It was supposed to be like a trilogy, volume 1, 2, 3. So I ended up, when it got time to sequence it down, I said, man, I really could just give them this real quick to appease the female audience. There's a lot of people like, man, I like Velvet, I like Spring Showers, those grown and sexy songs. I said, I feel capable of doing a grown and sexy project, which it definitely was. It fit that, but it was very me at the same time, my own version of that. Authentic.
Yeah. Now, what's the best time for you to write? Is it in the morning or at night or the evening?
I'm writing every day, all day.
Every day, all day.
Yeah, even if it's just one line.
Do you find time to like take a break though? Because I find that, you know, sometimes I need a second to let my mind repair and breathe, and then usually when I come back to an idea or a thought, it works better for me.
I am very pro breaks. Taking breaks if you need to. I'm not gonna beat no dead horse.
Yeah.
If it ain't coming out, I'm not gonna force it. I've been there, and the music definitely different when you in that headspace. So I can take however long I want on the song. If it take me weeks to get whatever line,
there you go.
I'll leave it alone.
Yeah.
You know, I've been in rooms where it's a sweatshop of industry writers, and we write. You gotta produce.
Yeah.
But I'm over it. Like, you gotta let your mind take a break.
You do. One of the good brothers, Sam King, he told me a while ago, like somewhere in 2010, 2011, he was like, never finish a song the same day, because when you come back to it, you'll be able to add something different. And I did not understand that as a kid. I'm like, yo, what are you talking about? If I can finish this, if I can finish this the same day, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, because you want to be done with it.
Exactly. But now, you know, as I'm older, I've experienced more. I can see where he's coming from, and it makes a lot of sense. You know, because you really can experience life and bring it to the record, and what you hadn't experienced yet, you can go and get and bring it back. You know, if you want to finish a line or maybe start on a verse, or if you haven't done the hook yet or whatever. You know, you can definitely come and bring that back. I wanted to ask you something about your music career in its totality. Do you ever feel obligated to reach a certain level of success in your career?
Yes and no. I got a line in the song where I said, will I make it before my granny parts to Zion? And my family seen me go through a lot. There's a lot of stories I never told them about the road to get to this point, but when you got so many people who championed you, believe in you, anybody that ever let me sleep on their couch, sleep on their floor, gave me a ride, I gotta see this shit through to the highest of heights.
See, now we're talking about the triumphs. Like, how, I mean, the trials. How do you deal with that though? Like, because you're still going through the. First of all, is it two-part question? Is it something that you're really trying to do now? Like, is it something that you're chasing now to make sure that you make it to that level before, you know, so your family can see?
Yeah.
And sometimes do you feel like it's a pressure that's
there's definitely pressure there, and I have felt tremendous pressure to get to that point. But where I'm at now is I'm not gonna mess it up. I've been through enough to where when I get it, I'm not gonna squander it. And I had to learn a lot along the way. There's a certain level of wholeness you have to have in yourself as well, because nothing is ever gonna be good enough for you. I had to learn to be able to celebrate the small wins. Because a lot of times we want, if I ain't get this, and this, I ain't have a good day.
That's big.
Especially when you can see it and you know where you could be.
And I done been in a room with people who's millionaires. I done been in a room with niggas who changed the game. And of course, that lit a fire in me. But at the same time, we all on our own journey with this shit. We all on our own path. So of course there are days I want more, and of course I do my due diligence as far as putting rollouts together and shows and whatever I'm working on. But ain't no rush, man. Ain't no rush. I'm happy to be able to connect with people.
Gotcha.
For the music to have a genuine impact versus 100,000 people who really not as in tune as the 30,000 people.
What's next for you?
A new piece, a new body of work.
Okay.
That I'm very excited about. Very eccentric. I won't say it.
You don't want to give too much.
What could you say without giving it away?
What can I say without giving it away?
It's
probably the most you've ever seen of me in a particular album cycle. Because I'm one of the people, I put it out, I go do my shows, and I go back into the cave. But this one, it's the most you're going to see of me thus far.
And where do you get that from? Is that from like studying artists that have been in the game for a long time, or you just truly don't enjoy being outside that much?
This is the thing. I be outside. I be places, but I'm not one of them people that I feel like I gotta broadcast it all the time. Like people be in the studio all the time, but they going all this stuff. Like I
always gotta go live.
But it's just I've become such a reclusive person because I know the type of life I want to lead outside of music. I know that. Quick story. My grandmother was telling me one day that somebody came up to her in a grocery store. Like, yo, I know who your grandson is. Give him this. Like, I'm trying to get in touch. I was just giving her this whole rundown. And my grandmama in her 70s, she don't know nothing about none of that. You know, she know what I do, but I got to the point where I was like, man, I really want just any and everybody being able to run up on somebody that's close to me. Asking, you know, and of course I'm not where I want to be, but even to be at that point where somebody know who my people is and come and give you a rundown, it's like I was flattered, but also
a little disturbed.
I want to be able to go somewhere and not have to worry about that.
Yeah,
right.
You know, and I was really into, like I said, I was into Prince. Prince was so larger than life, but he had a private life.
Yeah,
and in the past 10 years, we get a guy like Frank Ocean.
Yeah.
Frank come fuck the world up and bounce.
Slide.
And it's so heavy every time he dropped.
Yeah.
And I was inspired by that. And I feel that I can be just as effective. Of course, I got to perfect the formula, but that's really what's made me that. Just knowing what I want. I'm in my head creating what I'm creating. Just a little while I'm off the grid because of the subject matter. It's a lot to digest for me some days. Just getting to the very root of what I'm trying to talk about. It's taking a lot of self-reflection, but it's coming out. Coming out the way it need to.
Now, can you talk a little bit to the people that you've worked with so far? Is that something that you're open about?
My big brother, his name is Prince Charles. Phenomenal singer-songwriter. Very decorated in the game.
I'm familiar with who that is. I didn't know that was your brother.
Not my blood brother, but it's like I call him my mentor. I've known him for like 10 years. And just reaching out online to end up working on records together. I work with him. CoolAssPpl is a group that I work with, that I'm a part of. But their credits are Justice League, Rick Ross, Drake, Machine Gun Kelly, Tinashe.
And CoolAssPpl is the collective of individuals that form a group.
Yeah.
So you guys were actually featured on TPain's show. Is that correct?
Yeah. Crazy day.
We stand in this. Hey, yo! You better get in my face, bitch! Hey, yo! Bro. That's hot. That shit's hard, broski. That shit gave me confidence. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like that shit gave me real life, like, how do we keep going? Like, that shit gave me confidence. Fuck, that was good, bro.
Walk us through that experience of seeing that you were on TPain's show. Did someone reach out to you? Did you see it live? How did that work?
What happened was I was asleep. I woke up from a nap And sometimes I just fall asleep, and if I'm in a good sleep, my girl will leave me alone. She'll just go in the other room, right?
Yeah.
So I'm knocked out. I wake up, and I'm hardly on Instagram. I barely caught yours today when you messaged me. But I keep seeing the group chat on Instagram. It's got like ding, 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 like it's moving. And I go and I scroll up and I see the video and I'm like, I click it and I hear the song. I'm like, oh, this is real.
Yeah.
Bruh.
And
crazy
TPain
shit.
apparently doesn't ever watch the whole video or watch as much as he did.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Yeah, he was bumping.
Yeah, he
And
was
the-
definitely feeling
loving
that
it.
The
shit.
was
crazy
loving it.
thing about it is when I got the video, one of the guys in the group told me, he said, this happened 5 a.m. I just happened to be awake.
I just happened to be
awake and catch it.
Yeah.
But we had that video for days before we actually posted it.
Wow.
Like I was sitting on that. Like I called my mama like, yo, guess who just was listening to my joint? I'm like, who? TPain. What?
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Watch this video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
You
dope experience.
you might run into him. I think he lives out here in Georgia now.
Really? He
Yeah.
tweeted one of our songs a couple weeks ago right after. So I mean,
That's a huge compliment.
yeah.
for
Hey,
sure.
you know how much I used to listen to? You know how much all us used to listen to?
Exactly,
T-Pain?
bro.
Oh
let's
my
be
gosh.
transparent. All of
I
us
I
love
always gave
TPain.
T-Pain his flowers.
I
so
still
for
do.
so
listen
for
to
that
Yeah.
moment to happen, especially on that type of stage with that type of footage, that's definitely going down in my top 5
for sure.
moments of
Mhm.
man, that really moved me that day. Like I was
Absolutely.
I was on 10 for real. I still am on 10 about it, you know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You want to work with him? Is that a goal? A goal of yours?
Yeah, I would work with anybody that I looked up to that I was listening to.
Mm-hmm.
Period. You know, I don't whether it's just come sit in the room,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's you want to write, or what do you think of this record? What in any capacity,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Even some consulting work would be dope. You know,
Yeah.
like, we ain't got to work together. But
Even if you want me to go pick up a pizza for you,
Right. We could do that. We could manage that.
I ain't above.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm a everyday guy who just happened to do what I do.
Mm-hmm.
There's levels.
Yeah.
for sure.
I do. I am in touch with my star player.
Mhm.
I do know that I produce a certain quality
Quality of work.
but
Mm-hmm.
I'm never not humble enough to see somebody ahead and be like, man, whatever you need.
Right, because like you said earlier, everybody's on their individual path,
Mhm.
and like even though they're great entertainers and they have incredible stage performances,
Right.
you know, they're still humans. And that brings me to my question I wanted to ask you. Like for you specifically, what encompasses a great stage performance? Because you have incredible music, but how do you bring it to life on stage?
The band.
Mm.
Okay.
I need a rocking band. I done work with some bands to where they just didn't have it together, or
I know what you mean, bro.
It just sound be all over the place. But
Uh-huh.
over the past couple of years, especially in Atlanta,
Mhm.
I've been to so many places where there's live music, and I might know somebody who know I do music, and they'll put me on the spot. So I just kind of had to get good with going off the fly.
Mm.
So I don't work with some bands where it's on the fly and it's just crazy.
Yeah.
I've also done it and it didn't work so well. But I invest a lot of energy into if me and the band mesh,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be an experience.
Got you.
Mm.
Is that a thing in the industry? Like to work? Is it better to work with a band than to
I
have,
like working with a band.
music
I
in the
work with
back?
bands.
Yeah, it's only because the live band experience is completely different than just performing with a track.
Got
And
you.
I've done so
Yeah.
many shows where I perform with a track,
Mm-hmm.
and I've done shows where it hit with a track,
Mm-hmm.
but it pales in comparison to
To a band.
real band, and it's just
Especially
rocking.
a good band.
What?
Yeah, a band that they know their pocket and they sit in their pocket.
What?
Oh man, you can't compare that to a
You
track.
can't.
That'd be
And
fun to see.
you
Yeah,
see so many artists do tracks. The vocals might still be on it.
they're doing karaoke.
Yeah.
Let's be
like,
honest. That's what they're doing.
I did a show not too long ago, earlier this year, January, and
Mhm.
it came out really great. But it was the first time I did a track for the hook.
Mm.
Of course, I was singing on top of it, doing
Right,
all
right.
these other extra things. But man, I'm not really used to having a part of a track playing on anything.
Oh yeah, for that, like, so the way that I make performance tracks, I'll have like the hook in there, and the verses will be bare. The only thing that you'll hear from the verses will be like, say for instance, the punch-ins and the ad libs.
I was doing tracks with nothing on it, not even the hook.
Nah,
I tell you, I used to make it so hard for myself. But that pressure,
it probably pushed you to perform
me,
better.
and it was to the point where there was some people be like, "How did you do that long?"
Yeah,
Like, I'm in it. That adrenaline rush that I was feeling and still feel, don't nothing top it.
And that hunger, when you hungry for something,
hungry,
like you gonna make whatever need to shake.
When the crowd
no
really,
question.
when you look up and see they here with you,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, I'm about to soar tonight.
Yeah. So I want to go ahead and transition us to a quick little segment or what have you. And I don't have a name for it or anything. We're going to kind of test it out. Okay. I've seen it on a few shows. Shout out to Drink Champs. This is definitely where I got it from.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
So we're going to call this Choose One because
Oh, my God.
Damn.
that's how I labeled it. Whenever we all go on Drink Champs, we could just laugh about it and tell them that we did this.
Jacked your game.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
Took
be
your
fine.
game, nigga. And we ain't take no shot in between.
Pretty sure they were inspired by somebody else. So.
Had to.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how it always
People
works.
have always played choose one though.
Yeah, like that's kind of a universal game. You know what I'm saying? So, like word association.
Yeah,
like niggas
gotcha.
play word association.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? But all right, so the first one is, and this is specifically to you. This is curated to the good brother Jabriel. All right, so perform alongside your favorite artist one time, or have an entire album produced by your favorite producer.
Ooh,
That's tough.
that's tough.
That's a tough one.
Dang.
That's
Yeah.
a tough question.
I might have to go at entire album. It's my favorite producer.
Why? I'm curious as to why.
It seems like something that would have longer legs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course, a performance with somebody that I deeply admire, it's going to resonate with me for the rest of my life. But doing an album with somebody that I genuinely look up to their music and they've inspired me, that's going to go till I'm gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, that's going to really have some legs, especially if I knock it out the park.
Right.
That might also put you in a position to work with an artist.
Yeah, that would probably
stance.
open the door for something much greater. So
Absolutely.
that's where I'm at with it.
Okay, cool. So putting someone onto your music for the first time, would you let them hear Manifest or Volume 1?
Ooh.
You can only choose one.
Just one. It's getting a little tough, isn't it?
Manifest.
Manifest.
Yeah. I think Volume 1 sonically trumps Manifest, but I think Manifest at the core has more to it. I trimmed a lot of fat off of Volume 1.
Okay.
Since it was an EP.
Mm-hmm.
But Manifest, I had the opportunity to really kind of tell more of the story. Bits and pieces throughout. But
yeah.
And I even had to trim that down because I had really told every single thing in it before, but I don't want to spoon feed nobody.
Right. You know. Let them eat, let them feast.
Yeah, let you interpret it the way you need to versus me telling you how to interpret it.
Gotcha.
Okay. Next one. Only rap for the rest of your career or only sing?
Only sing.
Oh, that was easy. You didn't even have to think about that.
That's what I came into wanting to do.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me that before, and I was just like, if I started only rapping, you would hear some of the craziest flows, though.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to find a pocket that just...
that works.
You can't touch.
Yeah.
That you can't touch. And there's some that I have come up with a pocket that's just its own thing, but I'm going to definitely choose singing.
That's solid, bro. I always wanted to be a singer, but I was always better at rapping. So I think that's what I'm gonna stick to.
I had to learn to rap.
You had to learn to rap.
What? I used to, one of my homies, he was a crazy freestyler.
Yeah.
And once he saw that I kind of was getting it, he like put me on the spot.
Wow.
I was like, shit, all right. So we be in the rooms and stew just rapping to the point where I really got it. Hanging out with cool-ass people forced me to step my shit up.
So being in a creative space really influenced you to become a better creative.
Yeah. Cause I tell them all the time, like, we doing a song, like, y'all better write, cause I'm coming.
That's real.
You pushing me, I'm about to
I'm
talk
gonna push
my
you.
shit. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
for
push
sure.
you.
All right, this next one is a little bit different. Artists should expect, artists should be expected to speak on politics, or it's their prerogative.
Choose one.
Yeah, choose one. So artists should be expected to speak on politics and social issues, or it's their prerogative to speak on it or not to speak on it.
I want to say it's their prerogative. That's the answer I'm gonna go with. But for the type of person I am, when I see some fucked up shit going on, I'm gonna say
Gotta
something.
talk about it.
You
Yeah.
got to.
Yeah,
Like
feel
I
you.
always understand with anybody's response to anything is their own experience.
Mhm.
But the type of age we live in, when
Mhm.
something going on, we need to be talking about it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna answer that question also. I feel the same way as you. The writing is therapeutic for me.
Yeah.
Right. So if politics is affecting my life and writing
Yeah.
makes me, feel better, it eases me. And I know sometimes the people that listen to me, it eases them as well. I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? I'm definitely gonna do it.
That's real. For me, I can't help but to speak about something that's going to be real and authentic. And my authenticity lies in, or lives, because I don't want to use the word lie in that space. My authenticity lives in the space of speaking on shit that ain't right, shit that just don't sit well with my spirit, and how we can overcome certain things and what we can do to better equip ourselves when we feeling down or what have you. So, like, for example, something going on in the world, I can't just ignore it. Even if I don't speak about it explicitly, I may say something along the lines that is directly connected to what's happening.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So that you can obviously see that I'm speaking about it.
Yeah, because even if it's on your heart on a visceral level, you maybe just speak on it on the forefront, just to give the world a small synopsis of what you're feeling and what you're thinking, so they can know at least it's on your conscious.
It's definitely on my mind. All right. The last one is going to be go to a professional studio for a month for free, or record yourself one time and have your song mixed by Dr. Dre.
Man, these are some tough questions.
I had an answer for it already though.
Which one, bro? I know that's a tough one, dog.
It is a tough one because a free month of studio time
At a professional
very
studio.
professional,
Yeah.
high, top of the line studio
We talking like tree sound, like
versus the one experience with Dr. Dre.
think of how much music you could record.
That's a tough
Yeah,
question.
that's the thing. I think I might go with the volume, honestly.
Yeah.
Just the 1 month, because I have the utmost respect for Dr. Dre and everything he's contributed to the game. But I'm gonna really have to knock that out the park. I don't think I won't knock it out the park, because obviously
Right.
if I'm
There
in
you
a room
go.
with Dr. Dre, then I'm supposed to be there.
Absolutely.
There you go.
But I'm also trying to record whatever comes to mind. And I'm gonna need more than 1 day.
I
Top
feel
quality
that.
shit. Talk your shit, man. And
need more than
what's
1
gonna
day.
happen? You give him a month
Yeah.
with top quality. Dre gonna come.
Dre gonna come
knocking.
looking for him.
You gonna come knocking.
You give me a month in any studio where it's as much time as I want, the engineer file, everything is everything, it's gonna be a real problem.
That's
Yeah, man.
real.
Let's T-Pain. Let's get him the right resources, man.
Let's
he
go.
I record a lot of stuff at the crib.
Yeah,
Cribs.
yeah, for sure.
You know?
Naturally, me too, bro. Like, especially when you learn how to do this
Yeah.
shit, it's like, well, I could go somewhere else and spend money, or I could save that money and use that on marketing and the rollout.
There was only 2 songs on Manifest that I recorded in an actual studio:
Yeah.
Spring Showers and Plaza.
Now, how you getting it mixed? Who's mixing?
The engineer that makes the last 2 projects of mine, his name is Nicky, but he records Jack Harlow. He be hooking it up.
Hell yeah, the shit clean, bro.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you about your vocal producing too, because if you're recording it by yourself, that means you're vocal producing yourself most likely.
I mean, I can tell an engineer what I want, but I'm capable of just producing that myself. Honestly, like I'll go through it till I get it. If I feel it, I know how to go and hear it, do it, change the note. Like, all right, I need to sing it this way. I need to change it to this. I know when to punch in if I have to. I can do a lot of it straight take through if I need to, but that came from repetition, stretching your voice, being able to really just hit all these different pockets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I pride myself on when you hear it, like, dang, who thought of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
It was I.
It was I. Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got Jabriel in the building.
Yeah.
It's Why Not Us. I go by the name of Don John, aka Eastside Donny, in the building.
And I go by the name of Rose. Before we head out, man, I want to tell you something that it's the same thing I told Marsha, and I'm pretty sure I'll say this again. This is a platform where we get a chance to talk to people that's up and coming, that's really working, that's really grinding, trying to get to where they want to go. But they are able to, come and speak on the trials and triumphs, and speak on disciplines that they're using to get to where they're going. And throughout that journey, me speaking to you, I've learned that I become truly inspired by who you are and the work that you do. So I appreciate you for coming on. Appreciate you for showing us on the platform.
Thank you.
And we're definitely gonna show your song at the end of this, man, because you definitely deserve it. And I wish you the best, man. Gratitude.
Thank you so much for having me. This is dope.
Yeah.
Like I said.
And anytime you want to come by, man, slide. We here.
Okay, bet.
Could you share with the people where we can find you, where we can find your music, and what we can expect from you coming up soon?
Instagram, Twitter, Pharaoh Jabriel, PHARAOHJABRIEL, Pharaoh Jabriel. All streaming platforms, man. Tidal, Apple Music,
Spotify,
Google Music, all of it, man. Jabriel Manifest Volume 1, Malcolm Jabriel Sessions, CoolAssPpl. We lit.
All right, sounds good to me, bro. And as I said, anytime you want to come through, bro, you're welcome.
I'm gonna definitely come back.
Yeah, let's get it.
Come back next time I come. I'm gonna have like a crazy outfit. I'm gonna act like a whole different person, like I just walked off the street.
A brand new personality, like we never met you before. This
Right.
is great.
Oh,
Are you
season 2?
Season 2.
All right, and we out.
Yes, sir.
Wheels, I'm taking off to another place. You sit still, I can't relate. Your chick bad, mine better. Money stashed in gold in the safes. It's so much they can't relate. Way too real. Can't imagine life without my partners. We've been in them trenches, gone to war and came back godly. Work that's quality. Y'all still talking about quantity.